Hi, I'm Jackie with Military Saves, and we have made it to the final day of Military Saves Month 2021. And oh, what a month it's been! It has been so phenomenal thanks to our partners and our savers. We have had so much support and conversation and excitement and engagement. So, we want to go ahead today and kind of recap some of our favorite highlights. We're going to give some special thanks, share a little bit of information about ourselves as well, and just recap what a very successful month this has been. And we hope that you enjoy this chat and that you join us for the rest of the year because we've got a lot of great content to come. So before I start, I'd like to introduce our lovely guests. Actually, I will let them introduce themselves. We'll start with you, Angela.
Absolutely. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the very last Facebook Live of Military Saves Month. Many of you already know who I am, but I'll say it again in case there's anyone new here. Angela Caban. I'm an Army National Guard spouse, and I'm the director here of Military Saves. So happy to be here.
Awesome. And Lila, I'll let you introduce yourself as well.
I'm Lila Quintiliani, and I'm the Senior Program Manager for Military Saves. And I am a veteran, an Army veteran, and the spouse of an active duty Army soldier.
Wonderful. And I'm Jackie Toops. I'm the program coordinator for Military Saves, and I manage a lot of the communications and the social media. So if you have had any comments back on anything you've said, that was me. Always good to put a face behind it. But in truth, we have had so much engagement, and I just love seeing this enthusiasm for our entire military community. So let's go ahead, Lila. Can you please share what our weekly themes were for Military Saves Month, and then tell us a little bit about your favorite and why?
Sure. Well, our first theme and our kind of overarching theme was save automatically, which simply means that you should be setting aside money, kind of paying yourself first every month, even if it's only $1 a pay period. You should be setting aside money in an earmarked savings account for yourself. And then our next theme was save for the unexpected, because if this past year has taught us nothing else, there is always some unexpected thing that is going to happen when you least suspect that, you're going to be, God, who would have thought, right? A year ago that
Sergeant Murphy
world would be in the situation it would be in. And then our third theme was save to retire. That's pretty, self-explanatory. We all have to kind of think about our future selves, right? And set aside money for our future. And then we had save by reducing debt. I really like that theme because a lot of times people get discouraged when they're paying down debt and they feel like they're not making any progress in any of their other savings goals. But really, when you are paying down debt, you are in fact saving as well. And then our last theme, which has been this week, is probably my favorite, save as a family, because, saving it's not you don't have to go it alone. If you have a family, you should involve all of them, your spouse, your kids, and get all of them on board with your savings goals and the family savings goals so that you can all work together as a team.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lila. Angela, how about you? It doesn't have to be a weekly theme. I guess it could be anything. Was there something that you really enjoyed about this month? Like, what was your favorite aspect?
So I was thinking about this, Jackie, as we were kind of wrapping things up, and I can't pick just one because I think that each theme, each activity, each Facebook Live just had something so important and valuable that you can really take out of it. So while my favorite week, my theme was save as a family, and I think other than because I have, a family of my own to be having these conversations with, it was more it was new for us. And I felt like we were able to have some really important conversations that involved military spouses, military kids, military marriage. That was something that was spoken about yesterday, which is so very important when we're talking about our finances. So I can't just pick one. I think all of our guests did such a fantastic job at really bringing, the subject matter experts to the table and having some real down to earth conversation. I think if I had to pick one, Jackie, it would be the fact that it was just such a real conversation throughout the entire month. I think that's so helpful for everyone.
Perfect. And we've talked a lot about Save as a Family, and we have to give a shout out to our children because we put them to work as well. They did a wonderful video for us this week about they were asked money questions from us just on the fly. They weren't prepared, and it was really amazing to see what the difference was between an 8-year-old and a 16-year-old and what they understood. So well done, military.
Yeah, for sure. And it's the month of the military child, so that was definitely a really nice tie-in in a way to give back and honor them.
Absolutely. And I think for me, just being able to host the Midday Money Chats every week was really exciting because we did have such amazing professionals as guests who were very wise and insightful. But you're right, the conversations were just so down to earth. It almost felt like you were talking to a friend or a neighbor about the real issues and asking questions you might not normally ask because you don't know or you're embarrassed. And everything was just so comfortable and approachable. So on top of that, while I was interviewing these guests, we had amazing people commenting on our chats and sharing their experiences, sharing their favorite takeaways. And part of that was because Military Families Magazine teamed up with us and we were giving away $50 gift cards to one lucky viewer every single week. So definitely appreciate that from Military Families Magazine. And I got to be the one who picks the winners and got to give them the good news that they won. So that for me was a highlight too, because who doesn't like being the bearer of good news?
Yeah.
So Angela, I just kind of led on to one partnering organization who helped make this possible. And I know with a small team of 3, it does take a village. And I'm going to let you speak a little bit to our partners who made this possible as well.
Yeah, so we have such an amazing support network of military service organizations, those out in the communities, whether they're nonprofits, government entities, financial institutions. So we most definitely could have not done this without them because the message is so important to everyone. You know, we all have similar audiences when we're talking about speaking directly to military spouses and the family members. So one partner in particular, we're very grateful to Wells Fargo for funding the Military Saves program. They believe in the mission and the work that we're doing for all of the military community. So that's really important, as well as USAA for helping us put together the My Money Mistakes videos. And I hope that everyone that watched them enjoyed them. I know me personally, as a military spouse and now actually as a veteran spouse, I wish I had more real conversation when I was in some really bad financial situations. So being able to provide that content to the savers and to the viewers out there, I think is so very important because you're not alone in this journey, this financial journey, whether you're saving, whether you're starting to save, we're going to meet you where you are. So we're very grateful for the support and being able to launch those five videos. And I actually would love to know what was your favorite one, because we had 5 different ones that we launched and they were all just such powerful, testimonies.
Yes. Are you asking me what my favorite was?
Everyone, I want to know the viewers. I want to know you guys.
I know my favorite, and I feel like we all had the same favorite. Was it Stacy?
Want to say it all at the same time?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Stacy. Lila, you were quiet. Was it Stacy?
Yes.
I was like, is she gonna be on the fringe?
All the stories, all of the money mistakes were some really good money mistakes. But I think what resonated with me the most with Stacy's video, and I feel like we have to link them in the comments so that everyone, in case no one has seen it yet, is the fact that how it impacted her family. It didn't just impact herself as a veteran, as a military spouse, but her family. She had something that she was keeping from her husband. It could have potentially, really been not a really good situation for them in the end, and her children. So I love that she touched on all of those different aspects of, that family unit and how she came out of it. I loved, actually it gives me goosebumps thinking about it, that it is possible. It's hard work, but it's definitely something you can attain.
And I think it also brings up the point that there is the emotional component to spending. I mean, there's a reason why we spend the way we do and why we spend, what we spend on. And I like that. And that kind of reminds me of the very first Midday Money Chat with Dr. Michael Thomas, where you were talking about financial empathy. And, we have to really understand people's money story, because without that, then there's going to be no, getting past that so that we can, continue our savings journey. So I thought that was very powerful too.
I agree. He almost had me in tears in the first few minutes of our interview when he said how when he was a child, he asked his mom for no Christmas gifts, no birthday gifts, because he didn't want to put financial strain on her as a single parent. And I thought, oh my gosh. So we all do have reasons that we spend, reasons that we save. And the more in tune you are with yourself and your why, the more you can grow and develop. And these stories are just also down to earth, and we'll definitely link to that as well so you can see what we're talking about if you missed it or if you want to rewatch it again. So speaking of money mistakes, which I think is such a great angle because we're not here on our high horse saying, oh, we're all perfect. I think maybe it would be useful if we all share a money mistake that we made. I'll go ahead and start with you, Lila.
Well, I mean, there's a lot for me to choose from, but there is one that really stands out in my memory because my husband and I had just been married just like a very short time, and we decided that we needed a big new truck, and we bought it, and we had a big giant monthly payment, and we could not really handle that. But then it had sort of a domino effect on everything. And, like when you can barely pay your car payment, then you decide that you can't totally pay off your credit card bill that month. And you can't, maybe you can't afford to save in your company's 401k, or that was, so these were the decisions we were making, and it was a domino effect. And, it ended up putting us in a bad place for a couple of years. And eventually we ended up we ended up selling that vehicle, and we had to buy a used vehicle that we could actually afford so that we could pay off our credit card debt. And it was really the memory of that, the pain of that kind of is what inspired me to apply to become a financial counselor. So it was it was a big mistake, but it had a very important lesson that I learned from it too.
Oh gosh, thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's amazing how those vehicles can add up. And then say you need some kind of auto repair and it's no longer even under warranty, and like, do you afford that? Or are you paying the payment? Yeah, that's a big one that many people find themselves in. Angela, I want to hear you spill yours. What's yours?
So same as Lila, I had so many different ones that are just like in my brain, but I think I'm going to hit on the root of it all. And that's my biggest money mistake, because from this is spending way too much money, more money than was coming in, because I didn't have a budget. I know you don't like that word, Lila. I didn't have a spending plan. I didn't sit down every time I got paid trying to figure out, all right, what's going out for bills versus what I'm spending at, I hate to say it, Target. I had this mentality in my early 20s that I had to pay myself first because I worked very hard, but paying myself first is not the same. We talk about it now, which is retirement, your savings account. I wanted to go on trips. I wanted, to go take 2 vacations a year, have the best car, have, all these nice things for the house, realizing I couldn't pay the rent, so really, really hard lesson for my family and I. I talk about this very openly. We had to file for bankruptcy. And as a military family, what that can do to your reputation, not only in the community, but also for your service member's career. So it was very hush hush. Since my husband at the time was in the National Guard, we had to do everything and not really talk about it. So we came out of it because I think that really was a wake-up call. We had no other options. It was either, do this or lose absolutely everything that we had. And it was really difficult. And once, and I know it's funny when you say it in your head, like it really is a habit, spending and saving and everything that you're doing with your money. Getting into that habit of knowing, okay, I'm not going to be spending unless I know bills are paid, so a little bit of money's put away into the savings account, certain debts are paid off. And you kind of like, and again, might be old age too, you get older and now you just don't even have to really think too much about it. You just do it. Are there nice things out there? Of course there are. However, I, like in Stacy's video, I think if I don't have the cash, if I don't have that money in my discretionary fund, I'm not going to charge it. I'm not going to spend. Or maybe I'll just get it, but a little bit later down the road, and I'll just save up for it a little bit each week. So that's really helped me. But yeah, that if you don't know what you're spending and you're just like swiping the card left and right and, bouncing checks and overdrawing your checking account, or not knowing, it's just, and I think that's the other thing too. I was scared to look. I didn't want to see the damage that had been done. So I was like, whatever. It's what's done is done. I'm not going to stress myself out. I'm going to go to Target and buy myself something pretty, to make me feel better. So yeah, I think that was really difficult, as a young family, to really overcome that.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because I know that is really personal, and I know that had to have been very difficult for you and your husband, and hopefully those watching who are in that similar situation, that's something that'll resonate with them and help them as well. But look, here you are on the other side now, and you're in a much better place. So it is possible.
Yeah, thank you. And I would love to hear yours, Jackie.
Sure. Gosh, I wish I would have ended with yours. Yours is really powerful. Tough act to follow. So I went to college, and for my undergrad degree, my parents always were really good about, saying get good grades, get scholarships, apply for scholarships. And so I did. So for undergrad, I had 2 scholarships and made money off of college, which was great. But then after a while, I found it was very difficult to get hired as someone with a humanities degree. So I thought, grad school it is. And back then was a time where people were really pushing, like, oh, it's good debt, it's good debt. And I took out loans from multiple lenders, and I had this grandiose idea that with a master's degree, I was going to be able to just walk into a high-paying job when I was done. I'd quickly eliminate the debt. And I ended up at the end of it with $40,000 in student loan debt. And my first job out of grad school paid $24,000 a year. So it was with a nonprofit. It was with an art museum. Loved the job, and they're like, "Well, the pay isn't why you're here. It's highly coveted." And I thought, that highly coveted status is not going to pay my rent. It's not going to pay my debt back. I ate a lot of spaghetti for years, and I just carried around this guilt and shame. And then I got married, and I had debt. I had kids. I still had that debt, and I thought, oh my gosh, I never came out with that big 6-figure salary that I thought I was going to get. It was just this whole, I was kind of sold on this idea of, oh, it's fine, just take out the loans, get the degree, and you'll be set for life. And so I kind of created a future problem for myself that I didn't know would continue for as long as it did. Fortunately, though, debt-free, I've got absolutely none. And I have since then been so careful and meticulous about not spending what I don't have. And so it has helped me as well. And it's something that I really am working with my children, making sure that if there's something they want and they ask me, oh, can I borrow $5 or this and that? I'll say no, but you can save up for it. You can earn, you can do some extra chores. And then when you have the money, you can buy it. So, Save as a family, we're working on those conversations with our kids, because if I can prevent them from making this mistake, because this mistake not only added debt to my life, I could have been saving so much money back from my 20s on that I would have loved to have now, but it actually just put a huge dent, because every time I got money in, it had already been spent. So
that's such an unfortunate situation. And I feel like this could be a midday money chat on its own, talking about that student loan debt and how there's that misconception where you come out with that degree, you're going to be making 6 figures and you'll be fine. You'll be able to pay, those loans off speedy quick, but it's just a very unfortunate, situation for so many in this country.
Right. And it's not like I was coming out as a medical doctor or, like some sort of very technical job, like an engineer. Like I had a very liberal arts interest, which is great. And I've done a lot with it. It's been amazing, but it's never, it wasn't something that had me rolling in the dough where I could just eliminate my debt immediately, like I thought I was. So, yeah.
But I hear you beating yourself up for that. But here at Military Saves, we try not to, we don't want to judge anyone or shame anyone, and we certainly don't want them to feel shame, because where you are is where you were meant to be. And so it's never too late to start saving, right? So even if you haven't saved a dime and you're 45 years old, which I know you are not, Jackie. It's still not too late, because there's always, there's always time. There's always time for you to start saving. And so, it's kind of just a road that sometimes winds and sometimes has detours and sometimes has, construction. But eventually, if you keep plugging away at it, you can make it a habit, and you can make savings a habit, and then it's not tough anymore.
That's kind of the point too. I really love that you said that, Lila, because that's the point of us sharing these mistakes, right? There's so many people that are so ashamed to even have this conversation, or don't really know the next steps to get out of that situation that they're in. So I think talking about it definitely helps, and saying that, I remember my grandmother always say, you're going to be that age anyway, so what does it matter? It's never too late to start something. So yeah, no shame here for sure.
True. I mean, here we are live on Facebook having
I
this
know.
conversation. So if we can do it, you can do it. You can sit down with your spouse or your friend or your parents and, start that, because sometimes just breathing life into it and getting it off your chest is half the battle. And then from there, you can make a plan.
Right. Or your financial counselor, if you go to, if you're an active duty or a retired military family, you can go for free financial counseling on any military installation. And if you are a veteran, then we have some resources for you on our website, also free financial counseling through the Yellow Ribbon Network. So there's also, because sometimes you don't want to talk to another person that knows you. Sometimes it feels better to tell, a stranger.
Sure. And they won't judge you. They're trained to do that.
Right.
It's like when you go to the doctor, they're trained to
Exactly.
check you medically. So I make that comparison a lot, because it is very similar when you're checking
financial checkup. Yeah.
Right. Correct. Yeah, no, for sure. And I think it's so important. Even I think, was it Michael that had said it during week 1? Don't wait for a situation to really get out of control before speaking to someone and seeing, where you can assess. And there's just there's a lot of opportunity out there, things that I wish I would have done in my early 20s. So take advantage of it.
That's right. Learn from us. Now we're also able to use our experiences to hopefully help you as well. And Lila's got amazing credentials. She's an accredited financial counselor. So she's our resident numbers lady on staff. Numbers lady. That's going to be your official title. So Lila, I actually invite you for just a second. If you could talk to our audience a little bit about behavioral economics, and then what our Military Saves Pledge can offer them, because we've talked about recognizing it, admitting it, but then you need to have a plan. So Lila, I'll defer to you.
Well, I won't get into the whole history of behavioral economics, but basically it's the idea that, you can have these economic theories, but if you put them at work in the real world, they don't make sense, because humans humans will behave in a certain way that may not make perfect sense from the, classic economics point of view. So behavioral economics helps explain why people do what they do, because we're people. We have, personalities. We think in a certain way. And that's really the basis of the whole Military Saves program, is based on research and behavioral economics, because, for example, we like to say that, savers with a plan, we have done research, found out that they are twice as likely to be able to save successfully. And so our pledge, the Military Saves Pledge, which is kind of the centerpiece of our program, just asks you to set a goal and then start to kind of plan for it. So you are actually creating a simple spending plan when you take the pledge. So there's that aspect of it. And we also, talk about other things about like saving being a habit. And in order to internalize something and make it a habit, you have to kind of practice it, right? Practice makes perfect. You have to continually, strive to save, and then eventually it will become a habit and you won't even notice it anymore. So that's really the thought behind our stressing automatic savings. And we also talk about starting small, but thinking big. And that's also, it's kind of hard when you to visualize, $1 million, right? I can't say I'm going to save $1 million next month, but if I, if I were to start saving if I would have because I didn't, but if I would have started saving when I was, 18 and had my first, well, I had my first job at 16. When I was 16, if I had started putting my money in a IRA, then yeah, I probably would have $1 million right now. So, it's taking things in small, manageable chunks, starting small, but having goals and dreams, and that will, guide you on your journey. So
Wonderful.
I don't know if that's what you were looking for, but
That's great. That's great. And they say the best time to start obviously would have been yesterday. The next best time to start is now. And so if you're interested in taking your military saves pledge, which we highly encourage you to do, you will choose a goal. I, for example, chose retirement. That's what I'm going to be focusing on. You're going to start receiving goal-based texts and emails to help remind you and keep you on track so you can achieve your goals. I think everyone would agree, though, something that would help you with whatever your goal may be would be an extra $500 in cash. And today is our very last day for our $500 I'm saving for sweepstakes. And I'm going to let Angela tell you a little bit more about that if you're interested in entering.
Yeah, I could totally use an extra $500. I mean, who couldn't, right?
you're not eligible, Angela.
Darn. Sorry, my dog picks the best moments. So yeah, what Jackie says, she means it ends today. So you have until 11:59 p.m. Eastern time to enter, and you can enter by taking the military saves pledge, or you can re-pledge if you've already taken it at some point. You can go to militarysaves.org to take the pledge, or text the word military saves, it's all one word, to 877-877. Then you're going to go and join our Military Saves Facebook group. It's called Military Savers. And then in that group, once you have been accepted into the group, you're going to post your savings goal that you pledged to save for with the hashtag I'm saving for sweepstakes. And then that's it. You're entered to win $500.
That's awesome. Thank you, Angela. So the 3 easy steps are take our pledge, join our Facebook group, and then post your savings goal in the group with the hashtag I'm saving for sweepstakes. So good luck. Make sure you get that in before midnight tonight. Wow. Okay. Well, that about does it. So for anyone who's interested in any of our content, you can take a look at our Facebook page. We've also got a YouTube as well that links not only our midday money chats, but we've got videos that we put together, like I said, with our kids. We had a teenage saver from the America Saves side who's on their National Youth Advisory Council. And then a couple of our own savers made videos for us as well. So definitely check that out so you can stay up and up on our content. And we thank you so much for your support all month. You have been fantastic. And we'd love to keep this energy up throughout the rest of the year. So Angela and Lila, thank you ladies for your time today. It's been an amazing Military Saves Month.
Yeah, we are so excited. And everything that Jackie said, we have our cup of tea. We all have our fancy china. Thank you all for your support. And just if we could, or I could remind you all, savings does not stop at the end of April. So we are your accountability buddy. Feel free to just stop by regularly over on militarysaves.org, as well as our Facebook group. I think it has had such great conversation recently, which I know I can see a couple people commenting about all the wonderful things that they're learning from the group. Feel free to join and just jump in and start chatting with others. You'll be surprised how many other people, are either going through the same savings journey or maybe saving for the same things. And I think we can all learn a lot from one another. So thank you for the support, because again, it's been a very successful month because of you all watching.
Thank you so much. Lila, is there anything you'd like to add before we sign off?
I don't think so.
It's been a long month, but a good one.
I just wanted to say, if you think that we are more about motivating you to save than just kind of, death by PowerPoint educating you to save. So I encourage you to stop by our website and our Facebook page, and we're on LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter.
You make saving fun, right?
Yeah, we want to make saving fun.
Money is never a very appealing topic, right? But I think we we keep it real. So always keep that in mind.
We do. And I think money is appealing when it's working for you and you're not just working for it. So we're hoping that we can, be your, like you said, your accountability partner, however you want to look at it, your cheerleaders, like we will help you achieve those goals. And then money may be one of your favorite topics. All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Angela, Lila, thank you again. It's been a truly successful month and we appreciate all your support. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.